left.
Okay, the meeting is called to order. Number one is the agenda approval. We have one change on it, and that's to number 10D in the action items. It's to change the name from the work prevention plan, which is not what's intended, to the work violence prevention plan, which is what is intended. Workplace environment, or whatever. You got it. The workplace violence prevention plan.
There we go.
It only took two of us, several times. Okay. And next, Diane, will you lead us to the flag salute?
Whoa, you have to first, second, and approve the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's whoa, because I forgot the cheat sheet.
And/or discussion too.
Okay, so, anybody second?
You
move it? Jeannie?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
That's passed. Now, can we do the flag salute?
Please stand. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next thing is an informational.
The board received a pretty cool little PowerPoint of our projects that we completed this summer, and we've done a pretty good job. We focused a lot this summer on Beckville Grove and on the high school, and I'm happy with where they are. We spent a lot of time last summer on Brookside and Blossom, and I like the curb appeal of our schools, and they're beginning to look better than they have since when I got here, so I'm happy with that. I think Rick's team's done a really good job. We still have a little bit of work to go before we get to the beginning of school, get some meetings to get done, get some things down, but they're working hard. And it was a different summer than we've had in the past, because we have a different director and get some new bodies, and so we're finding our way. I think that the direction of that department, and it's a multi-level department. You're talking about maintenance, grounds, transit, weeding, as well as our custodians. And so everybody's worked real hard this summer and got some time off. So other than that, it's pretty cool. We are very close to having 3 brand new rooms at Brookside.
Very cool.
Very close. And as I'll possibly bring up later, we will be having a board meeting in that room in September. We'll be moving there. And then we'll be going from there to your back to school night, Dr. Crosby. So, yeah, rooms are nice. I was over there today. Pretty cool stuff.
So make a note that next month, in September, we gather over there, so people can hear if I know them. Okay, CSA comment, anybody with the CSCA? Nope, okay. WTA comments?
If you want to go backwards, the architect of the informational thing is here.
Wow.
If you don't mind, Brian, this
I don't mind.
So I was
I've
talking
seen
about
this
what we've
man
done
talk
this summer.
before.
So,
Pardon me?
you're on. That's his.
It's really cool. Good evening.
Rick Scarmella, Director of MOT for Willits Unified. Just a brief summary of our work that we've done since school got out. Everyone has the presentation, I'm assuming? Okay. Perfect. We've replaced several floors throughout the school district in classrooms. We've done 2 at the high school. Will be 3 at Brookside, 1 at Blosser, and I believe 4, 5's almost done at the junior high. We've painted ramps, rails, installed metal siding at the gym at Beckville. Interior painting, some exterior painting, more exterior painting than interior this year. siding replacement of some dry rot. Installed brand new kiln for the high school art class. Irrigation repairs. Gym floor was sanded down at the high school, repainted and refinished. It looks beautiful. Some new outdoor tables. We've upgraded the pool filter housings for the filter housings for the pool, so it'd be less times we had to touch it during a week to buy a little bit more time as far as filtering. And did quite a bit of renovation. The locker rooms at the junior high, got all new floor, paint, ceiling. Mr. King added some lockers that we installed. The mat room got a little makeover. Vice principal's office got a little makeover. Portable classrooms down across the playground. One of them got new flooring that we're going to use as a classroom this year. Office lobby at Brookside was painted, and then a lot of landscape maintenance, catch up. We brought in some walk-on redwood bark in front of the high school, over at Losser in the big planters. Got another load coming for the front of Brookside. Any questions so far? So I know it's pretty boring just to talk about the stuff we did. Hopefully you've been around the district, you want to take a peek.
It's exciting, it's not boring.
Okay.
Everything looks clean and trimmed.
Yeah, I had higher hopes that we would get more done, obviously, but, because I always think stuff is quicker to do than it actually takes in my head when I'm planning. But as you can see, I attached some pictures to the presentation. The bathroom, portable restrooms at the high school. We painted a lot of doors this summer at the high school, to get it to be the school colors. Installed some awnings over the doors to prevent, more rain, water entering. And we still have a lot to do, which is, you guys all know, we're working on some stuff up with Sherwood and Losser. They're kind of coming down the pipeline. And that is about it in a nutshell. Any
Yeah.
questions? Yes?
Are you also a part of that bathing system where you're trying to the bathrooms, the little alarm system?
I'm
for
aware
dogs?
of them.
Oh, but that's not something you are directly dealing with?
No, I think there was already some in place prior to me.
A little system to detect bathing? Or
Yeah.
you're the one who watches it, or what?
No,
is-
it's almost, you treat it kind of like a smoke alarm, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same principle. I think it's a lot more sensitive to the vapors as opposed to smoke.
Yeah,
Just for my previous knowledge, that's how it was explained to me how they worked.
oh, okay. Well, I just think that's a good idea. I just hope there's someone standing around to respond to the alarm,
We'll have some stuff for you in September, once we get
Oh,
up
okay.
and rolling.
Oh, okay.
We're into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually gonna come more out of the network analyst position, and that would be Dakota, is gonna be running that. Because it requires technology. It's probably the best way to put it, and hardware. We gotta put it in, we gotta technology, we gotta go someplace, and we go over the phone.
Yeah. No, I'm just concerned with somebody looking at who comes out of the bathroom so that, you're more productive than just guess what's happening now,
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, kids
Thank
are a little bit sharper sometimes in certain areas.
Yeah, no, please. Okay,
Any other questions?
thank you.
I
It
just want
does
to
look
thank
good.
you for the wonderful work that you've done, so
Well, thank you, I really appreciate that.
Yes,
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
you're appreciated.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Brian Bowles, WTA president. I'll just really quick piggyback on the appreciations that Rick and his crew have done beyond just the work. The attitude and the interactions with employees, I think, has been I'm looking forward to a lot of things this year. We have, in our new contract, we have site-based decision-making. I'm looking forward to helping implement that within our school district, all the different sites. Some sites are kind of already on board and doing it, whether they realize it or not. Some sites are going to be bulldozing through and into that program, with the goal of being a more productive school and more interaction between all the different groups. So that's one of my big pushes this year. I want to thank the board and Mr. Beebe for giving us that chance this year to make it and test it out. Really, it's kind of a trial run, so to speak, in a way. I'm hoping to make it a long-term run and make it a positive effect on this school district. We have standard beginnings of the school snafus that are occurring, just as far as, do we have the teachers? Are we over? Are we under? Where can we move people? And I wanted to appreciate Ms. Bender. Sorry, sorry, that was a bad one. That was my youth. Was Ms. Bender, Ms. Duran, for reaching out and helping or getting some problem solving help, and Mr. Reed as well for working with that. Nothing is ever going to be perfect, but the more we can be proactive and work together, the better our students will hit the ground running. So that's my goal. I take the students kind of first, what's best for them, and then it expands out from there. And so people like Rick, Mr. Beebe, Margaret, those are all people that help influence that goal and affect that goal. And so thank you for all of your assistance. We have, as of yesterday, we had 12 new teachers. As of today, we may be up to 15, as I may know, but how many people we got today? 14 more. So we're at 14. So we're putting on a beginning teacher luncheon on Monday, and then we have a WTA all-member luncheon on Thursday. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I think that's it for now. I look forward to working and seeing all of you at our campuses, and enjoy walking on to cleaner sites. So, thanks again.
Thank you. Mr. Beebe, any comments?
Well, first off, I guess we don't have such a program. Next time we're here, I'm gonna have all my admins present in the front row. I think that'll be the first thing I want to talk about. Okay, because if we're gonna expect our kids to sit in the front row, then my admin's gotta sit in the front row. Okay, so I will leave it up to Dr. Crossman to organize. Thank you for doing that for us. Okay, thanks. That's for yelling at me yesterday in our meeting. Okay.
There's no retaliation.
No whatsoever, no. First of all, it's good to be back. I appreciate all of our staff. I appreciate the people here. Ms. Nunez Ward, congratulations on coming back into Willits Unified. Congratulations on your job. So congratulations for that. I want to say it's been great working with Rick all summer long on getting these projects done. I think he's understating themselves. I think there was quite a bit done that I did not notice they got done in previous years. And it gets done without me having to beg. It just gets done. It's seen and it gets done, or there's a lot of communication kind of going on between Rick and I, which is fruitful. That's where it works. Similarly to Brian, I'm very encouraged by, we've had some initial meetings and some initial conversations, and I'm very encouraged by those interactions, and I really look forward to connecting and continuing to engage on multiple levels to ultimately, as always, just create a productive and positive environment within Willits Unified. That's always my goal on every level. Just a few data points. We have about 120 students in summer school. We have 62 in your before school. I'm not going to call it what you call it because I'll giggle like a child. I'm not going to call it Cougar Camp. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so
Didn't you just do it?
62 kids at Cougar Camp? Okay. See? Yeah. Anyway, so how's it going? Good?
It's good.
All right. That's good. And then we had about 90 students in New Western Alianza, and the reason I bring that up is it's been a great partnership since I've been here, and I have developed a little bit of an additional relationship with Sergio and another couple people, and we're going to be doing some stuff with them throughout the year now. They've gotten their hands on a little bit, hopefully they're going to get their hands on some grant money, and we're going to be doing doing some stuff after school and on Saturdays with that organization and kind of connecting Willits Unified with them, which is what I've always kind of wanted to do. I wanted to expand the program into our system and just kind of bubble it out, see where we can kind of go with it. So, continued staffing, Mr. Bulls brought that up. We did hire 2 more people today. We are down, we need 1 teacher as of today. And we need a few more classified, but we definitely need 1 more teacher. And so we've got another 6 days to go. You know, we'll get there. Amy's grinding and doing what she's got to do, and our DO staff is supporting her, and we've got a few changes. Obviously, Amy's new, and we have a new district clerk, and Heather Mia, and got some domino effects. We got some new people, some new places. So excited about that. And for those of you who do not know, I had a little bit of information that I involved myself with this summer. I decided to go and get married.
Wow.
So I got married.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody, some people probably didn't know that I was dating somebody, so that's why it comes as a surprise. Yes, her name is Shuju Liao, and she works out in the Roseville area, so we're gonna be married a long time because she's not gonna be here, I'm not gonna be there. I'm done. So that'll be good for her. She'll like me a lot more from afar. I have no doubt. So it's good to hear. Anyway, that's all the news I got.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, board comments, Jeannie?
Well, congratulations, Mark.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
I think I'm a lucky one. I'm an overachiever.
I'll get into my notes. Hold on a second. Why don't you call on somebody else?
Okay, Diane?
Thank you.
She's great.
Yeah,
Trying to match her
I've been on my phone for a year.
she's lovely.
And this is the first time you share?
I'm not a sharer, so, sharing is caring, I know.
Your maintenance report was really amazing. We've been waiting for something for years. And it was, everything was, the way you did this and showing us what was going, and the schools looked wonderful, all of them. You didn't miss any of them. So thank you, Rick. Schools, yeah, all of them. I was glad that Sanhedrin was picked up, and also Sugarwood as well, instead of just the ones here. Let's see, teachers are getting into their classrooms. I've been at some of the schools, and they're getting ready right now before they're really supposed to be here, but they want to get their classrooms ready. And I'm hoping to see everyone on Tuesday at 8 o'clock at the high school for breakfast. And let's see, yes, the Redwood Empire Fair with that was down in Ukiah. The FFA members that we have here at the high school, and all the 4-H members did well in all their stuff, and also mine for the balsamic reduction as well. So that's what my summer was like. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, go for it.
So I want to welcome everybody back, and I hope everybody had a really great summer, and that you did some fun things, and had some rest, and anyway, I appreciate all that you do, so. And in July, I attended via Zoom the Budget Perspective Workshop put on by Capital Advisors in conjunction with CSBA. I shared the slide deck with Superintendent Beebe and our Director of Physical Services, Melissa Ragsdale. And my intent is always to try to stay on top of up-to-date information regarding the state and school budgets. So I am not a whiz at budgets, but I'm paying attention. So Melissa will be glad to know that I'm paying attention to what's going on at the state. And I was really pleased, I got a newsletter from the Blue Zone Project regarding the Sanhedrin Garden. And it says, the newsletter said, Willits Unified School District, Works in the Blue Zones project, Mendocino County are thrilled to announce the successful refurbishment of the Sanhedrin High School's garden. This collaborative effort brought together the Willits Unified School District maintenance team, workability program students, and community members to transform the garden into a fully operational production site. So I used to be involved with workability when I worked for the school district. I actually applied for the middle school workability grant, and which is still in operation. And so I love workability. I think it does wonderful work, and I appreciate the maintenance department and that their efforts in that regards, and it was a great experience for the students, so I think that's wonderful. And I've been reading extensively about the new Title IX regs, which will have significant impact on our school district. And I have also been paying attention to information pertaining to the emotional and mental well-being of our younger generations. Besides reading numerous articles, I've also spent time this summer reading The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. That looks in-depth at the mental health problems showing up in Gen Z, with notable increases in rates of depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicide. His in-depth research points to this being mainly due to two factors: the loss of play-based childhood, and I sent some of you a link to a wonderful documentary on the need to return to play-based childhood, and the arrival of a phone-based childhood. I'll talk about this more later when we discuss cell phone policy at the end of the meeting. So, thanks.
Thanks, Jeannie. Paula?
Yeah, most of everything I would have said is said now. The high school does look a lot better. I was really amazed that Miguel Gutierrez could get so much done. Basically by himself. A lot of the garden, no, not garden, the landscape types. I all of a sudden can't think of their proper way. But worked in teams, and it seemed like that was the only way that that group was able to accomplish things. And I've known him for a long while. He's always been a hard worker, but he really gets through all that he needs to do. Grounds is what it's called. Anyway, they did it. He's really done excellent. So he needs to, according to me, he needs an extra shout out. Okay. The painting and all the rest of that, my only worry is for you that after about a month and a half of school, you start to see it not look quite the same. But I'm certain that with our playground, they're not playgrounds, the wandering around area at the high school supervisors will make sure that that's maintained sort of, so that's good, just so that you don't get, I don't know, I know that when I was in Cloverdale Unified, they've got sort of a different mindset about things than happens here, and so sometimes it's expected that when something is done, it stays that way. And I personally would like to see not the same thing, but a little closer, and I really think that'll happen. People really do believe that once it looks good, it stays good, and sometimes that's the truth. Anyway, with Nuestra Alianza, I was not real involved this year, but a little involved with their program, and it went really well. I'm sure that had to do with Lorenzo and the teacher there and the group of people, although most of them are the same every year. My only sincerest hope, although I read in the warrants, is that their air conditioner continues to work in all wings instead of some of the rooms and some of the wings, or not at all in the cafeteria. So that will be a real good thing. And also I'm just really kind of concerned about the swimming pool bathrooms and their floors. Okay, then that's good. I don't want to tell you about how the people can walk in and crash, I just assume you avoided a lot of that. And I'm sure that, it's a hard thing to take care of everything. I really agree that you're taking care of it. I'm real happy you're around, it's just, in case you miss that room, I'm here to help, So that's pretty much all, and certainly welcome to everyone. I'm really pleased to see all the people that are here and that it's gonna look good this year. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. It's been quite a summer. I've been working over the past year with Aurora and with Amanda on the ethnic studies information classes that are gonna have to start. And ethnic studies is a really broad spectrum because it covers all different fields. And in discussions, Amanda and I were talking yesterday about the possibility of presenting some of the information in all the different classes that it's appropriate for, so in biology, in physics, in other things, in government, so that it's not just one class called ethnic studies, because that's kind of overwhelming for everybody. It also includes music, it includes games, it includes fun, and it should start at a much earlier level. And there's been some conversation going on, and nothing is written in stone, but for little kids, the idea of hopscotch, and you have it with the board on the ground and the numbers, and you have the words written in English, the numbers written in English. You have another one, and it's written in Northern Tagalog, or no, in Tagalog. You have another one that's written in Spanish, and you have another one that's in Northern Como. So that the kids get to play together, have things that are their own and share, and it kind of happens without even paying attention, because they're just around it, and people ask questions, and they talk to each other because they're little kids. So that was one thing that I've been working on. And then the other thing was Aurora and I had a conversation with Daniel Check from the music department. And some of the issues that they have is that because the way this high school setup is in the trimester, it's hard to have a class where you start with kids that are playing an instrument for the first time in junior high school or in high school. Because if you're going to be good at an instrument, you want to start a lot earlier. He started as a little kid. I started singing with my mom when I was 4 and playing her violin when I was 9. And others that play music understand this and are in the same position. And so there's no teacher for the younger grades at this point. And so I've been brainstorming, trying to figure out how I might be able to help volunteering in working with the kids and just teaching them songs, do other stuff, do rhythm clapping, so that when they get, as they go on, they are familiar with things, and it's not all of a sudden go, boom, here, play this, because you can. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing, and otherwise trying to stay out of trouble. Thank you. I'm supposed to say something now. We have a break, a 5-minute break.
And I know that they were instrumental.
Yeah, part of it is the
Figuring out the
baseball.
Okay, we have public comment. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Okay, thank you very much. We have consent agenda. Is there anybody that has any issues or questions about any of the things on here? Mr. Beebe, did you want to talk about B5?
Bingo. No,
Congratulations.
I thought it was a good job. No, we had to do this again because we have added an additional athletic director for high school, so we needed to not resubmit this. I guess we'll be saying an additional submission because we have to put that person's name in order for them to potentially vote and get information from the staff. Was that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So we needed to add Ms. McClellan to this, to previously adding Mr. Murray and Mr. Cole.
Okay.
And that has to be done tonight.
So
Just let you know.
we'll be signing it tonight.
Okay, yes. It is
And
done.
we had the correction to the wording on
Yes.
letter D.
Big shout out to Amy Adams for
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against it? Any abstentions? Thank you. And now we have the approval of the 24-25 revised board meeting calendar. And we have to do all of these separately, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And is it by, it's not by roll call, it's not, approval of the board meeting calendar.
I approve the amended, I move that we approve the amended board meeting schedule.
Any second? Thank you. All, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of the 24-25 workplace violence prevention plan.
Unmoved it.
Okay, any second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approval of intent to employ Dana Carcar, multi-subject certificated teacher, Gloucester Lane Elementary School with a provisional internship permit. Somebody make a motion?
Go ahead.
I move that we, because it, that we approve the employee for Dana Carper.
Any second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against it? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of intent to employ Scott Bailey, single subject certificated teacher for Bechtel Grove Middle School with a provisional internship permit. Anybody want to make a motion?
I move that we approve the employee of Scott Bailey, who is for a single subject certified teacher at the Grove with a internship permit.
Anybody second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody not voting?
I abstain.
Abstain? Thank you. Approval of intent to employ Abby Steffens Bunton, Pupil Personnel Services Counselor, Gloucester Lane Elementary School with variable term waiver. Any discussion?
I just want to say I've had a lot of opportunity to observe Abby when I've been on campus at Bechtel Grove, at Gloucester Lane, and to watch her interact with kids. She's a wonderful kid.
Oh, good.
In that position.
Thank you. And anybody want to make a motion?
I move that we approve the variable term waiver for Abby Stevens Bunton.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of intent to employ Ricky Mills, speech and language pathologist, district-wide with a variable term waiver. Somebody want to make a motion?
I move that we employ Rick Mills, speech and language pathologist, district-wide with variable term waiver.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Abstaining?
Aye. Okay.
Approval of intent to employ Holly Sandbeck, Pupil Personnel Services Counselor, Bechtel Grove Middle School with a variable term waiver. Somebody want to make a motion?
I move that we employ Holly Sandbeck as a pupils personnel services counselor at Bechtel Grove with a variable term waiver.
Thank you. Second?
I second.
Okay, any conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody abstaining?
Aye. Thank you.
Approval of intent to employ Brooke Larson, single subject certificated teacher, Brookside Elementary School with a short-term staff permit. Anybody make a motion?
I move that we employ Brooke Larson as the single subject certified teacher at Brookside. I think it's both Brookside and Blossom, which is split in half between the two schools.
Okay, good. We should add that in.
For the short-term staff.
I see.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody abstaining?
Aye.
Okay, approval of 24-25 district representatives for Mendocino Lake Adult and Career Education Consortium. Anybody want to make a motion?
I move that we approve the district representatives for the Mendocino Lake Adult and Career Education Consortium as outlined in the supporting document.
Any second?
I second.
All in favor? All in favor? Do you have a question? I'm sorry, discussion?
Yes. Is there a reason why John Horton is pretty much put at the bottom of the representatives? I mean, is the way it is for Mark and then for Aurora and then John, like a hierarchy or a protocol, or?
He's a classroom teacher, and the meetings are usually during the middle of the school day.
Oh,
So that's why it makes it more challenging for him to attend. They're at Mendocino College, so they're not held locally, really.
I just really feel he has the most experience in that, and he's an outstanding teacher in that field. I just was surprised. I didn't know if it was somewhere. I knew it wasn't here. I just didn't know what time it was. And
Usually 10:30 in the morning.
oh,
The meetings are,
they're kind of standard, have nothing to do with curriculum or anything else? Oh,
They're-
okay.
well, first of all, it's almost Tri-County.
Oh,
meetings.
okay.
It's Lake County, it's us. Actually, they even drift over to whatever county Woodlands in, Yolo County,
Yeah.
and to a certain degree, Sonoma County. So it's a consortium. And so multiple people come, and the topics range, they're not really specific to this site. They're voting on a variety of things that are within embedded adult ed, which are specific to a lot of regions. Some regions have other programs that are embedded within adult, and it's not always just adult programs, it's nursing, firefighting, lineman. So some of it doesn't even apply to us at all.
Well, he spent a lot of time over the summer going to that big
Yeah.
conference, and I thought these guys would, that those things were related.
So, but one of the major ones is that they never have the meetings, they always have the meetings from 10 to noon, on usually a Friday or a Thursday. And so they don't, it's not conducive for John to be out all the time, so there's no hierarchy. I just put the names down, because my name down, or I'd be happy to move them up to the top. But doesn't mean you
And
can
give
go,
him a son.
doesn't mean you can go, I mean, we got them some couple times.
Yeah, we have. And the meetings are almost a monthly basis,
Yeah.
sometimes twice.
Sometimes twice a month.
Oh,
They need a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I have misinformation. I heard it was like once every 3 months.
No,
Oh,
no.
no,
Because I
that's why I
go to the
thought,
meetings, I know exactly when they are.
I trust you to know that.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
so, and we have to go.
yeah, no, that, I understood that part
Like, we
too.
literally have to go, we have to vote.
Yeah.
That they have a difficult time getting the form.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, approval of the updated tentative agreement with Willits Unified School District and Willits Teacher Association.
And
Anybody want to make a motion, or is, what?
Yeah, go ahead, get to the discussion.
Okay,
I got a problem with that one.
okay.
I move that we approve it.
And anybody second?
I second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I should have taken the word, when we're doing an agenda, we should take the word tentative out there, because it's already approved. So,
So that's where tentative has been scratched.
thank you.
All
Oh,
in
yeah.
otherwise.
So I just have a question. So Brandon is listed as president for WTA, but he's no longer president.
So this, well, frankly, I'm just gonna, it's me. I messed up. When we were putting some stuff on the June meeting, for the
Whose signature should it have had?
Well, since we moved Brandon before,
Right.
Brandon, because that's what
Okay.
was done.
So that's,
Not that I'm trying to,
thank you.
not have Mr.
What?
Cole.
I
Sorry.
know.
Not that I'm trying to have Mr. Cole do it, but if you want to sign it, you're more than welcome to.
It was omitted from the original.
Yes, it's in the original.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Approval of 24-25 revised salary schedules, appendices A1 through A3.
I move we approve that.
And second.
Any discussion?
So this is connecting to the one above,
Right.
because it's the appendix and then the language, and so now it's connected.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of 24-25 agricultural career technical education incentive grant.
I move that we approve that too.
Second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Paul?
No, I said aye.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you remember my first name.
Okay, so the next one is the district-wide cell phone policy discussion. Mr. Beebe, would you like to start us off?
Yes, sir, it's a pleasure of the board. You asked me in our last meeting to bring this back to this meeting, and so the floor is open to the board. There is growing sentiments in multiple districts in California. Specifically, I think I spoke last time about LA Unified is at a 6 or 7 month kind of plan to incorporate cell phone policy. They want to fully flesh out and thank you very much. So LA Unified is, right now, they've got an idea, they've got a preliminary plan that they're going to eliminate cell phones from 8 to 3, or as they say, during school time. That's their kind of philosophy. They want to have it flushed out and ready to rock by January. San Diego has since followed suit. That's two of the top 5 biggest districts in California. Right after the LA Unified Board, Governor Newsom came out and says that he would like to create legislation to follow it as well.
Okay.
There have already been multiple lawsuits filed against this potentially, just to give you the facts, in LA Unified. There are a few other districts that have gone to it or going to try to go to it in California. There are a number that we have, other people have discovered, and I've kind of researched across the United States. Some are working, some are okay, some cost money, depending on what you're going to do.
What are the lawsuits about?
Well, the number one thing that is going to be, from an administrative point of view, there's one thing that keeps continually rearing its head. What teeth do we have in this situation from an administrative point of view? Like, if a student doesn't want to give us their phone, they don't have to give us their phone. We cannot
Okay,
take their
thank
phone.
Thank you.
Okay? I mean, well, I guess we could, but then now we've opened up another situation. So I've got to make sure that we're going to put our administrators in a position to be able to administer the policy, discipline within the policy, and then also create an opportunity for the student to rebrand their behavior modify, work with the parents. The lawsuits are all about safety. They're all being crushed on safety. IEPs.
It's not safe for the student.
It's not safe for the student not to have the phone because they're not going to be in direct contact with their parent or caregiver, parole officer, probation officer, guardian.
Okay.
Have you consulted with our attorneys?
I have.
You have.
They're in the wait and see mode like LA Unified is.
So we also know that there's the one in Philo area, the school's there.
Boonesville, Anderson Valley?
That has a policy, and the kids, they have these pouches, and they put them in the pouches, and they leave them locked up, I believe, right? For the daytime.
And when I talk about our administrators doing this,
That's
it's
very-
universally that we want this to occur. We're not against trying to do something, by the way. I want to make sure that I'm really clear that all those people back there, and these people right here, and all these people down here, this is something that we want to figure out.
I know.
We're just trying to make sure that we can figure it out so we can get this done, in an effective way. Anderson Valley spent
A lot of money on those guys.
about 10 grand. We need to spend about 35 to 40 on those pouches.
So, I have a question, because I
A year?
also had heard,
Not when you buy initially, then you have to buy the service.
right, but, yeah.
So,
I had heard that part of the problem also was that parents, were getting mad at the schools if something happened to the phones.
absolutely.
So I have a question, maybe this is just too obvious and wouldn't work, but what would be the possibility of just letting all the parents know that the students are not to bring phones to school? That if there's an emergency or something's needed, there are phones in the offices that can be used. And the parents can use it to call and check on their children the same way. And that way, if there's no phones, they don't have to worry about them getting broken, ripped off, or whatever. So that's just one other possibility out there.
Okay. Are you asking me, or, I mean, are we discussing, or,
I thought we were discussing.
yeah, I
this.
mean,
It was
so,
a discussion.
that's a good idea too, okay? I think one of the best ideas is to start with the fact, we're just not gonna allow them in class at all,
Mhm.
at all. But our biggest issues, one of our biggest issues is at lunchtime in between periods. You can stand in front of any high school or even in junior high, stand right behind a door, everybody's flipping their phone on the moment they come out of class. So, that's 5 minutes that they're gonna use it, so it's five classes, right? 5 classes. It's 25 minutes plus lunch, it's 55 minutes a day within the 8 to 3 that they're gonna be on their phone.
Except in talking with the people from Boonville, the person that we had talked with stated that for the first time, kids weren't talking on the phones when they went from one class to another. They were talking to each other in groups and having a good time doing it. And that's an incredibly good lesson. So, anyway,
Anyway, I spent a couple hours today doing some reading and taking some notes. I'd like to read my notes.
please.
This summer, as I mentioned, I've been reading The Anxious Generation, How the Great Rewiring of Childhood Has Caused an Epidemic of Mental Illness. Research shows that major depression has increased roughly 150% in teens since 2012. The increases in teen mental health problems is concentrated in the internalizing disorders of depression and anxiety, and the same patterns can be found in college students. Emergency room visits for self-harm amongst teens has gone up 188% among girls and 46% amongst boys since 2010. Suicide rates for teens show a similar increase. Similar increases are seen across the western world. The paired technologies of social media and smartphones reached the majority of homes by 2012-2013, which is when girls' mental health began to collapse and boys' mental health changed in more diffuse set of ways. And I've looked at charts and you can just see it. From about 2010, it just starts going up and up and up. It wasn't until teens got smartphones that they could be online all the time and spend increasing time in the virtual world. By 2012, many teen girls would have felt that everyone was getting a smartphone with its front-facing camera, using used apps such as Instagram, creating the selfie-based social media system so ubiquitous today. Girls' social lives moved into a social media platforms, while boys burrowed further into other virtual activities such as multiplayer video games. Many adolescents lost their ability to be fully present to the people and the world around them. Social patterns, role models, emotions, physical activity, sleep patterns were fundamentally recast between 2010 and 2015. Attention fragmentation, loneliness, social contagion, social comparison, perfectionism, and addiction are the consequences. Teens are no longer here. They're in the place where they are at, with the humans that are around them. Teens are now somewhere else. And I've heard it said that smartphones don't open your child to the world. They open they open the world to your child. With smartphone use, teens are experiencing 4 fundamental harms: social deprivation, sleep deprivation, attention fragmentation, and addiction. And it's a deeply serious problem that we have to do something about. I know that we have counselors at the elementary schools now, we have counselors, anyway, we have lots of counselors, but I think the problem is much deeper than that. The loss of play-based childhood and the advent of the smartphone with a front-facing camera. So we have to do something, or our kids are going to, the kids under our care, they are under our care. They're not going to get better if we don't take care of the root problem here. So anyway, that's all I got to say. I highly recommend this book. You need to understand what's going on. You need to look at these charts. It's very disturbing. My granddaughter is in 4th grade, and she had a friend over at my house playing a couple weeks ago, and her 2 younger brothers came to pick her up, and one of them forgot his cell phone. He's in going into the 3rd grade. And then my granddaughter was there again today with a friend, and her friend, who's going into 5th grade also, has a cell phone. I mean, it's just ubiquitous, and it's not good.
Thank you, Jean.
So that's all I got to say.
Diane, Paula, do you have anything to say before we open it up to other folks?
I like that, they redo, from 8 to 3 for them not to have their school, their phones done. But they, like you said, opening it up from one class to the other. But the problem there, like I said, they need to start communicating to their peers as well and get back to that.
You pretty much said everything, I think. I don't think it's good that the cell phone is attached to your hip, but I'm there.
So, if you all want to say something, come on up, say it, please. Because you're even more involved than we are.
Brian Bowles again. There's more to it than just the cell phones, and it plays really heavy into the discipline at our high school and the destruction of our bathrooms and put down of both genders, and all those things are happening because of that cell phone that's in their hand. And so when we can remove that, education improves, our relationships between our students and their teachers improve, and the culture improves. That's what I'm hoping for with a movement in the direction of limiting access to these devices. They are a powerful tool. We know, all of us, I'm sure in this room, have a cell phone, but they're not being utilized correctly at the age group that they're being given so freely. 3rd grade is indeed crazy to have a cell phone and access to the world. And I really appreciate the quote about the world having access to that, because there's no way to monitor what they're getting, and there's no way to discipline. For the same reason, we can't take your phone and say, why are you saying this about so-and-so? And so it all just degenerates, and instead of thinking about science or math or wood shop and your fingers and safety, you're thinking about what someone said about you in their Instagram account. And so it's a really powerful thing that's decreasing our scores, honestly. Most of the schools that have seen or have put forth some kind of proposal and implemented it have seen drastic increases in their STAR test scores almost overnight, like within the same year of implementing programs. And so I'm all for it. I know we're going to get a kickback, but I think the effort is very, very well worth it. So thank you. That's my 2 cents.
concerns about that. And one of them is that I would think it'd be especially difficult to have that kind of consistency for every classroom teacher. That would be my big concern. Certainly, I would never expect anyone not to do as they're directed, but sometimes some people use them as rewards or whatever, and this is gonna undo the plan a little. So we'd have to really get serious about truly serious buy-in. And my other part that is a concern is that I know teachers who teach almost exclusively through their computers. And when your computer's not charged, because you whatever, then your phone is right there. As seldom do kids forget to charge their phones, and then consequently that's used as an educational tool as opposed to something we don't appreciate. As much as I don't appreciate exceptions to rules very much either, that's going to be something else we need to maintain some serious concerns over. Because the minute it's back in your hand, it sets people up to see those snapshots of what's happening. And it's ridiculous to tell Mary that she can't use her phone, but Sarah can, you know, and that would be the reason without going into things that are not her business. And so these are just little things that we are gonna need a pretty comprehensive plan for.
Sounds like we need to make sure that all computers that the kids are gonna use are charged and ready to go.
I noticed that the middle school in particular pushes for that, and we still have kids who drop by their class and go, oh gosh, I'm not charged. And usually a teacher will have 1 or 2 extra, but that just opens the door to 3, 4, and 5 that aren't charged either. You know, I mean, it's a simple thing in my mind to say, you don't get your goofy phone, leave it at home where it belongs or whatever. But there are so many extra things. It just concerns me if we have an answer for them already. It just needs to stay in our heads. It won't be near the issue. I mean, most of us grew up with that form. Exactly. You made it.
Anybody else want to share with us? Because this is important. You guys are affected even more than we are.
Shane Doppelman, high school. So, first off, I want to say that this is a legitimate concern. I have been at an administrative school where we actually implemented something like this. I will say a large portion of my day was spent enforcing it. So that is one thing that we need to consider. The lower grades are easier as they get up to the higher grades. Students tend to become more independent, do not rely as much on their parents, potentially have multiple homes that they might be going to and use for communication. So in no way this is me saying it's a no, but it's just there's a lot of moving pieces I think really need to be thought through on this. A structured plan needs to be put in place, and what's the end result? Because unfortunately they keep reducing the ability for us to discipline children, which is it's not necessarily in every sense a bad thing, but it is becoming harder and harder to enforce certain rules because of that. Legislation this summer just reduced it again. It's now one of the echoes was removed for suspectable offense. So as we think through this, we also have to consider that this is a legitimate addiction. So it's not as simple as just saying, put the phone away. Because kids are, I mean, we as adults are addicted to these as well. We're not separate from the children. And so when we enforce that, you know, it's something you consider someone who's saying smoking, will just put the cigarette down. It's not as simple as just doing that. So it's something that really needs to be truly thought through. What's the outcome? We need to get parents buy-in through this process as well, because we're truly going to enforce it. If the parents are not on board, I'm going to pick up that phone and the parents are going to say, well, tough. And then what do we do? So we need to get parents buy-in. The school I was at, there was parent buy-in, so I called them and they would come and pick it up. But that was something that had been set up over, I think it had been enforced for over 10 years. So it wasn't something that was new. It was effective, but still, every time I walk by a kid, you see him kind of looking at a phone. So this is not a in favor or against it. It's simply saying that whatever we do decide, it has to be legitimately thought out. We must make sure that we are getting parent buy-in so that when we do move forward with it, if we move forward with it, they are on board. So that when we pick up the phone, there's going to be some kickback and saying, yeah, okay, I'll talk to Johnny, I'll talk to Marie, I'll talk to so-and-so. So that's basically just what I have to say with that. It works, it can work, but it must be implemented effectively. Because if we just say tomorrow or a month from now or even 3 months from now, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Because at the high school, I think it's about 3 years now, we've had the no cell phone policy in the classroom. It's been touch and go. I'm not gonna say it's been perfect. And Paul, as you brought up, with any rule, complete efficacy, everybody doing it does impact it. And so with this as well, as if it's something that we start at lower grades and we progressively keep that going, those students become used to that process. Whenever you start something new, there's always a gradual rollout where, hey, this isn't something we've done before. And so that's also something we need to consider. So, thank you.
And along with that, if you don't mind, we have employees that need to consider similar thoughts. Some people who work in the district have to have their phone. They
Yes.
have to. You're an administrator, you have to have that. Other employees, to use an example that I've never noticed have a phone, cafeteria staff are not gonna need their phone in their hand while they serve, So that's gonna be another way that's gonna have to be dealt with, in that some people's jobs do require, if you have a kid fall on the ground with whatever allergy, and you need to call the hospital or the ambulance or whomever, you need to have it that second. Those 5, even 20 seconds it takes to go to the office could make a big difference in that child's life. But other members, other staff, other employees don't necessarily run into those kinds of emergencies where they are farther from the phone. Most every building has a phone in it, So I really agree. There are 100 issues that come up with every one that you think is a good plan, So I especially like start at the beginning and work your way to the top, because most things that I see as successful have been taught when you were little and they work into your life all the way to the end. But that doesn't help those who drop by in 6th grade.
Mark, you mentioned San Diego and LA Unified. Do you know of any smaller school districts besides Anderson Valley school districts about our size that have implemented anything?
There's a few, just a few. And they've had, just as she was saying, they've had success and they've had failure and they're going to continue to have success and failure. Some of the schools that are actually having the most success are typically the Midwest and the Eastern schools where they're one-room buildings. So they can really monitor, because they've got to walk into one door or 2 doors. You have a school like, let's say our high school in Beckett Road, and you have 1,000 different cubby holes that somebody could be sitting around talking to somebody on their way to the bathroom. And this is, something I think Chris brought up yesterday in one of our meetings is, there's always going to be an end around. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't stop just because of an end around. We have to adjust to the end around. We have to adjust. We have to continually adapt and evolve. There's one of the interesting, when you asked me about lawsuits, one of the interesting ones that I saw is that putting a kid in ICS, which is like in-house school suspension, right? Well, they're saying that you're going to take their academic day away. So you're actually violating their educational rights by taking away their academics, because you're not in class. So that's an interesting argument. And I want to make sure I reiterate, my admin team, and I know I've talked to Brian about this as well, we are into this. We just have to make sure that we're going to do this. You have a motivated group that wants to get this done. I tend to be very pragmatic in these situations. We have BP that has teeth right now. You can't have your phone in class. You can't have that out in class. It almost feels like that is where we got to start on 100% buy-in with not only our admin, our educational staff, our classified staff, and our admin staff. We have to educate our subs. So when they come in and whatever the sub plan is, they're not using their phone, and that we are going to have some exceptions. We we have 2 students right now in our system that have a right in their IEP that they get to use their phone. That's got written in there. So we have to deal with that. These are exceptions we have to deal with. But pragmatically, right now, that's written into our BP, so we actually have that. We're gonna have to adjust from this group, from this body. We're gonna have to have additional language in our BP to talk about passing periods and lunch in that particular aspect as we move forward. We need to get that in there. I think it's a good idea to really talk to the lawyer, find out where we're at. So I'm not putting any one of my teachers or admin who says, I need your phone, because I do not want to put them in a position of needing something done with that. We are in a litigious society.
Can we,
But that doesn't necessarily mean we don't back up from that. Because I'm ready to go. It's been a long time since I've been in a little bit of a fight, okay? So let's go. I mean, it's gonna be good for our kids. It's gonna be good for our staff. We all know this. We all know the reason. So sequentially, parent meetings at each site, maybe a global one that we have. And we start doing town halls. I mean, we're in the season of town halls right now.
Thank you.
Okay, so we start pressing the flesh, we start having the meetings, we start opening it up. If people don't come, we ask them again, we ask them again, we ask them again. And then, I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen in LA. And I always like the fact of being able to steal somebody's stuff if it's working. I know that, Brian, you sent me an email to someone from Portland.
There's it's not Portland specific things, and Albuquerque.
Yeah. And we can do
There's
some,
another one in Washington too, I
we
believe.
can do some little research, we can try and find a district like ours that does it. I'm not a big fan of spending $40,000 on pouches that are gonna get lost, stolen, you know? They are cool though. They're really cool. I don't know if you've seen them work. Have you seen them work? Like you put them in the thing and it gets sealed, and at the end of the day they go up and it's like tapping your car on the AM PM register, and then it just opens it up. It's kind of cool. So
so
maybe
can we,
color coded. I can think all kinds of fun things to do with that.
can we do some real focused parent outreach?
I think that's what we're gonna need to do, but I mean, the reality is, I mean, if it's in class and I'm gonna deliver part of this message on Tuesday, is that this is where we're going. I mean, if this is where we're headed, and I need 4050, this is where we're headed, so I can drive this forward and I can galvanize our staff, and they're already galvanized here in our admin team. We're ready to go. Shane's right. I mean, this has gotta be sequential, scaffolded, linear, but we don't stop.
So, is that something we can go on now?
Discussion item, it's not a vote. You're just gonna give me direction,
Right.
tell me to get this done. And that you're supportive.
So that's what I'm gonna
Yeah, no, but you can, like, I'm going to tell you, I'm very supportive of that.
I'm very supportive.
I'm big but I'm quiet.
From the back of the room.
Diane, you want to finish?
Well, we're going to, maybe Mr. King is
And I'm
going to.
very supportive. Go ahead.
Chris Kenny, principal of Bechtel Grove. I want to dovetail kind of what Mark's talking about, of our parent outreach. We do a lot of conversations around cell phones. I freely admit to parents, the biggest mistake I made as a parent was giving my kids cell phones when they were in 7th, 8th grade. It's been a detriment to their mental health, it's been a detriment to their social lives. But every parent I talk to about that has a reason why their kid is different. Your kid's not different. You know, if we get banned cell phones tomorrow and make it stick, that's great. The biggest thing is a lot of parents look at this thing as it's a safety device. There's a lot of concern not only for their kids' safety within schools, outside of schools, transportation issues, my kid has this, that, and the other, I work out of town, I need my kid to be able to reach me at any time. The phone at the school isn't good enough, so I think there's gonna be a lot of education for parents, a lot of information about the research that's out there about how detrimental this is. I mean, this isn't a Willits issue. This is a United States issue. This is a world issue of youth having access at a level that they've never had before. We can make a little small dent in our community, but we're going to be fighting an uphill battle with a lot of the parents that I've already talked to. So I think getting that outreach to them, getting their feedback, getting their support is going to be a big piece in making this stick. I've had parents already screaming at me because we confiscated their kid's cell phone because they were using it in class. And it was, you're not going to ever touch my kid's cell phone. That's not a fight I want to have every day.
you need other things from us or ideas, let us know.
We're gonna find a policy that's gonna fit our needs and we can dial it in, and then hopefully in that timeframe, not hopefully, in that timeframe, we're gonna hammer the public on what we think is important in this particular aspect. And to tell you the truth, this is a no-brainer. This isn't some CVE component that's coming down the hill, okay, whatever. This needs to happen. I mean, I'm one of the oldest employees of the district, and I've watched this evolution of technology. And I think I mentioned it. Brian, did we talk yesterday or the day before? We missed, it's kind of shame on us, to tell you the truth, in the upper levels. We missed an opportunity to put this into our system in a healthy, effective way. We didn't, whatever the time that was, 2005, 2010, whatever this really came about, we didn't get it in the right way. You know, as an educational, not us, not these people on the ground level, but people someplace else making decisions. And because I've seen this work really effectively in an environment where people are using it constructively. I've seen it work in charter schools, smaller places, STEM schools, you know, where they need them. I've seen it work, but it's not working the way we are, and it's detrimental. And 2 years in a row, we've had more meetings where Vector Grove has gotten annihilated because of this one. Because of the negative things that have occurred by some child taking pictures of something here, there, and then being shared all over the net. And there's got to be massive collateral damage to families when that occurs. It just hurts my heart. So let's get it done.
Thank you.
But it ain't gonna be done by tomorrow.
Okay, so, if we're done with that, any agenda items for the next regular board agenda?
So now that this is gonna theoretically get out into the public that the board is discussing, is that gonna be another discussion item next month?
We're gonna keep it on here.
Every
Okay.
Find
month?
out where we are.
Oh, okay, so it would be handy if anyone you talk to anybody said, by the way.
2041, I think we'll be ready to go.
That's as long as you got a date for it.
I would just add, because it's such a no-brainer here, it makes sense to do a practice run with our site-based decision-making with this, because it would be an easy target to find and be a good practice. I'd throw that out there, no shames, 2 people ahead of me, so that's my first olive branch for site-based decision-making. And that incorporates different groups, right, so board members, teachers, both units. That's the buy-in is exactly what's going to make this work.
Any other items for the next regular board agenda?
Remember, we're gonna be at Brookside, Penny Classroom.
Yes.
You're gonna tell them.
Don't we have another one this month?
No.
I like hanging out with you, Diane. Not really, I mean, I
It's on
don't.
the 22nd, that we go.
Hold on, I think I might have it.
Did we get that,
It's gonna
was
be
on
in
there
the,
to change?
it's gonna be in the large room of the 3 new things.
16, 17, and 18. We'll have signs.
I'm not sure which room yet.
It'll be on the agenda.
Already in your office, right?
Yeah, I'm sure we'd all fit in there.
I was there today, it looks cool. Rooms look good. Rick, you gonna be done?
So that's on the
One-
12th
one
of
of them?
September.
They're going to look good.
Yeah, they're gonna. Don't go in the corner.
Don't open the door.
Don't let that
So-
carpet over there.
In that
It
case,
was Lisa's floor.
we are adjourned.
No,
Oh,
you have
what?
to vote.
Motion.
Motion?
It has to be.
Oh. I'm sorry. Somebody wanna make a motion that we can adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
I
I
Are you abstaining? Okay.
No,